Match number 2 of night number 2, the 2025 AVP League from Delray Beach Tennis Center here in Palm Beach, Florida. Brooklyn Blaze taking on the San Diego Smash. And it is the women's turn to get on the sand. Lexi Denneberg, Julia Donlin going to take on Gina Urengo and Tony Rodriguez. Welcome into the booth, everybody. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympian Casey Patterson. Casey, pretty unique brand for the young upstarts who came out with the victory last night of the Brooklyn Blaze.
Yeah, their superpower from watching yesterday is their offense. They're serving aggressive. They're going to side out at a high level, and that's really exciting for us to watch, and a trouble for these teams that maybe haven't played them at all, which is everyone, right? So it's going to be a test of the veterans against the new ones who have nothing really to lose. They just want to prove to everybody they belong.
Mentality and focus. Take it to anyone who's on the other side of the net. That's what you have to do. And here's who we have on either side of the net tonight. San Diego winning the first one 2-1. Buttinger and Evans picking up the victory there. We'll then move on from this match here with more women's action. Kylie DeBerg, Haley Harward looking to rebound. The Dallas Dream and Melissa Humana-Paredes, Brandy Wilkerson, interestingly, also on a rebound. Thanks to these women out here, Denneberg and Donlin. And then we'll finish up the evening with Andy Benish, Miles Partain, top American side in the Olympics last year, taking on Trevor Crabb and one Philip Dalhauser, the legend in his final year. Young and old fans enjoying the action here from Palm Beach. It's turned into a balmy, beautiful night. We got a little bit of cloud cover just in time.
It's perfect. You let the breeze come through. You got a little cloud cover. As players, we love this weather more than anything. You know, warm, but you know, cool at the same time. So this is perfect conditions.
So aggressive serving last night really carried it. It was 15-12, 13-15, 15-13 for the Brooklyn Blaze. Denneberg and Donlin. Donlin doing a ton of damage with her jump serve. Yeah, she has an absolute cannon of an arm to begin with. We talk about this all the time where I don't know if most of the men on tour can hit the ball as hard as her. She brings absolute heat, and so for that to be a focus and a threat for her and that team, it's perfect. So it lets her just be free. And I think Lexi's physicality, too, lets her do that even more. You're looking at what happened last night. We started with a little lightning and thunder, and then we got that on the court as the evening wore on, finishing with a Dalhauser and Crabb victory. Mark Sherman is ready to bring him on the sand. Let's get match 2 underway and more top shelf volleyball in the AVP League.
Let's do it. Time for the women's match of the Blaze versus Smash. Both these teams won yesterday, looking to go undefeated through the first weekend of the AVP League. Let's meet the players of the Brooklyn Blaze, wearing the number 1, standing 6 feet tall out of USC. It's Julia Donlin. And also standing 6 feet tall, wearing the number 2 out of UCLA, the Mustang out of Merritt Island High School, it's Lexi Denneberg. Oh, they're both number 2. And their opponents, the defending league champion San Diego Smash. Standing at 5 feet 9 inches tall, the defender out of USC, it's Gina Urengo. And at 6 feet 1 inches tall, the blocker out of LSU, Tony Rodriguez.
So Tony Rodriguez at the net. If you were with us last night, we detailed her very interesting and wild year she's embarking on, playing at the net in this combination during AVP League play and then going off to FIVB events and playing as a defender. Casey, you filled both those roles, but did you fill them ever in the same season?
Never in the same season, but that's incredible for her to always, like, the quick turnaround. It's almost like when you go coach, right? You get a different perspective, and so then you go back and you appreciate your partner a little bit more because you understand what they're looking at, right? And so, if anything, you know, it's such a good, like, compliment to her game, and it elevates her so much.
Smash will receive first. Rodriguez, tight pass. And she'll chip it expertly down the line. They're coming off of a victory, 13-15, 15-13, and 15-8, making that third set look pretty easy against The Dallas Dream, that's Kylie DeBerg and Haley Harward, who will be in action later tonight.
Yeah, Toni really turned it on with her service pressure and creating opportunities for her team in that late in those 2 sets.
Good cross-court swing there. You know what struck me about Brooklyn was, you're talking about the physical nature of them. The amount of times that they take a swing at the ball, but a directed swing seems much higher than most of the other players. Right.
It's not just, you know, it's hit as hard as I can wherever the ball leads me. It's I'm directing it to space with that velocity.
Rodriguez took that big step in, and this time it's an angle, so one line, one angle, trying to keep the split blocking pair guessing.
Yeah, that's a great start by Toni. We called that, you know, she's the perimeter attacker right now. Let's set the tone with an East Coast, West Coast shot, and now everything else is open because now they're going to be chasing.
All right, well, she represents the South. I'm not sure we're going to assign her a coast coming from St. Amant, Louisiana. And she'll look to the line, not quite there. Looked like it faded just wide at the end, and they're going to question it, but from our angle, pretty good one.
Yeah, that moved a lot. Once it crossed the plane of the net, it drifted a lot to the left.
I talked to Denneberg and Donlin just briefly during the last match as they were getting ready. The plan last night, executed perfectly from the line, was for Julia Donlin just to light it up, just to swing at it from the line, and her partner to keep the ball a little more strategic on the Palm Beach Passion. Here, a little no man's land there for Lexi Denneberg. And that plan worked beautifully. They put a lot of pressure on the Passion early, particularly with Donlin jump serving. They went 5-0 to open.
Yeah, there's something that you like as an opposing team. If they're both kind of just being careful with their serve and not really going for it, there's like this calming feeling where that team, they're both going to just absolutely hammer their serves. And so you can never really take a break. You can never take a breath. So when they miss, it's almost a relief versus, okay, I want to side out. So that, I mean, that's what you have to do as a split blocking team. Leverage your superpower, be physical, and they'll figure out the nuance of their defense throughout the season.
Denneberg with those numbers, a top shelf debut in league play. Here's a push to the right side. That looks a lot like their men's counterpart, doesn't it?
That's the beauty of and the deadly power of Gina, because she can use both hands. And something that I've seen that I'm so impressed with her over the years is where she's at now, is that she's so calm, cool, collected, and it never looks like she's in trouble. And that's something that she's really elevated in her game.
Yeah, she would credit that to some work with the sports psych.
Right.
Of course, Gina has almost played through that time period where sports psych was not really valued, to the point where it's a cornerstone of so many programs.
Right? Yeah, I felt like growing up it was more of like this, you got to go earn your stripes and just go play as much as possible and, you know, play the gnarliest guys ever and just learn how to have, you know, mental strength. Where now it's like, oh, I could fast track this and understand it better. That's a huge advantage.
And then there's a whole science there.
Right.
Her partner puts a little science on that one into the corner. Yeah, Gina has said she's done a lot of work on the mental side of the game and actually brought that to her partnerships. Dr. Justin Blake reached out when she's playing with Julia and said, hey, maybe you could use some coaching. And in fact, that's been a good ad.
Yeah, just talking to her yesterday as well, it was like just her aura while talking about the team dynamic of Toni going back and forth between defense and blocking. It was very calming and confident and trusting.
Yeah, is that blue? Is that purple? What color is that?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I'm street style mentality. I don't know all the official.
Is that like the glow? Is that similar to the Last Dragon?
Yeah,
I mean, like that?
The kids, like my boys in middle school and high school, like max aura, which just means you're glowing. And it's like the feeling you give off is just they're so confident.
All right, feeling a success here in our first set as it remains tight. 6-5 San Diego, and a little smile. Toni Rodriguez came down to the hotel lobby last night. Has been a little under the weather. She's looking for some Tylenol from behind the desk there. Instead, she found a couple pieces of our pizza.
Oh, perfect.
And ate that instead. Turns out pepperoni and sausage pizza equals Tylenol. Kind of same effect.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But free.
That ball is wide. Point smash.
That's a hard ball to attack. I mean, good thing is Lexi, even with missing that, she still had the height and range to put that ball in. Now it's just a matter of how do I get my feet to the ball just a little bit better over time on this right side and be able to snipe that sideline.
First 2-point stretch out here comes from San Diego. First set. Top serving club on the women's side last year. Big block that time, just out, just wide.
Really close. You know, and that's what Julia did so well with Betsy, right? Her on two was incredible. So I kind of like doing that as well. Even when I was playing with Jake, it's like, you can't take me out of the game. You're not allowed to like not have me be a part of this. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice look at it. Great work by our crew there, right down the line.
And the fan got out of the way just in time.
Yeah,
that was helpful.
Yeah, Gina, that's how you do it. Indoors, outdoors, doesn't matter. If you can chisel the hand.
Yeah, yeah. I have that little pocket where I don't swing. I let you kind of drop it. You have to pull your hands back, and then I just use the side of your hand. I mean, that's what Gina does, right? She's got her arm, both arms always loaded, so she's deadly from anywhere.
You know the third member of our team, Cameron Irwin. We've unleashed her and let her just roam the sidelines. Cam, what's going on?
Well, you guys have been talking about science and Gina Urango. Well, how about a different kind of science? Their coach, Angela Benson, is a big part of how they approach the game, specifically Gina Urango. She uses a technique called differential learning, and it's really unique. It allows them to train in multiple situations, different types of scenarios on the court. She literally throws everything you could imagine on them in practice. So they've got to be able to find those funky, wonky plays and find points, and that's exactly what they did last night, picking up the 3-set win.
I love that, Cameron, because Tony and Gina came to Sports Academy and trained in the sand there when it was raining, and I was helping them run the drills that they had set up, and I was so confused. And then Gina explains that, all the different layers, and like almost like the layers of uncomfortableness and awkwardness and chaos, but then getting comfortable and then switching immediately once you're comfortable. It's like to something new. And I had a hard time keeping score in those drills. I was struggling.
They love to even create their own practice plans, so it is a full ownership of their game, whether it's in-game or even in practice.
Case, you're at BYU, you got to get the whiteboard out. Come on, man. That's basic Carl McGowan
My
right there.
McGowanism, yeah.
Somewhere Carl is sad about you right now.
It's like Patterson didn't bring it to the whiteboard.
Deep corner shot is good. Brooklyn hanging tight here. You're looking at Lexi Denneberg, the 28-year-old 6-footer out of Florida. Did her time at UCLA as her partner goes back to serve. Played for Stein. Credit Stein for her defensive techniques. And I'll tell you what, the resources in college are just enormous now.
Insane.
Hours of training and the access to knowledge. We were going through some of the great setters who'd made an impact on the beach game. Stein was on the list.
Yeah, right? I mean, you got Stein, you got John Mayer, right? They just made the finals of the NCAA championships, right? They ended up getting second, but I mean, you've got all these guys on tour that are now leading college programs that have so much knowledge and experience. It's such a blessing for all these girls. It's incredible.
Stein at UCLA at that point. Jenny Johnson-Jordan taking over. Stein to Texas. We were making a list earlier, the setters who've moved over. St. John Smith, Ricky Ludes, Karch, Casey Patterson, Billy Allen, Miles Partain, Canyon Seaman, John Mayer, Stein Metzger. And then on the women's side, Misty May, Sarah Sponsel. Think of some more. On the women's side,
there's a surprise one that I didn't know of, which is awesome because of how physical and how aggressive she was on offense. She's not. We crossed her off. I thought she was.
There was a big debate about whether Nicole Branagh was ever a setter, and it was incorrect. She was not ever a setter. I checked that with Nicole Branagh.
Thank you for doing your due diligence, because I was excited about that. I was like, ooh.
Look at this, on two. There's the physicality.
Free ice cream.
Gina with a little defense.
Okay.
And the snap put away to the corner.
Little sprinkles on the side. I'll take it.
Sprinkles on the side?
Yeah, just a little wrist away. Just a little throw, a little sprint, some sprinkles from 10 feet off. Great set by Tony, the layout. Oh, my favorite shot, a little wrist away from off the net.
I like her mechanics there.
Yeah.
Set her feet, good double arm lift.
Yeah. Priorities, get that ball to your hitting arm so that you can use your most deadly weapon. It's overrated sometimes.
11-9. Set one. Best 2 of 3. Play to 15. Win by 2. Denneberg eaten up this time. Urango traveling the long distance, and she'll go right back to the same spot from the angle this time for the biggest lead of the match.
That was a full figure 8 from both teams. I think we covered the whole court. That's where I feel like Lexi is going to get more and more comfortable on this right side. She's going to tweak her approach. She's going to get that ball where she can be a little bit more terminal on those high over-the-shoulder balls. Those were the hardest ones for me to kind of figure out from the right side, and she's going to get a lot of reps with that.
You heard Tony encouraging her partner, Gina, there, making sure she got the name right. As that ball hits off of Gina Urango and goes out of bounds, we were talking to Tony Rodriguez, who, of course, is playing internationally. Nice catch, sir. Nice job.
No beer
Excellent
spilled.
work.
He's proven it. Here, look at
That's
me.
right.
Can I keep it?
Playing internationally with Kylie DeBerg, but playing domestically with Junior Rango. And said, have you said the wrong name at some point? Accidentally?
Yeah, right. Oh, I have, for sure. First couple weeks of practice, you know, calling everybody Jake or everybody Chase the next.
But this is back and forth. And in fact, last night, mid-match, facing off against one another, Kylie DeBerg had a ball go by her, and she yelled, Tony!
Tony! I love it. Tony in the stands. Shout out. Yeah.
We often talk about these being relationships similar to boyfriend, girlfriend, or significant other, spouse.
Right.
It's probably not good in any situation to have too close individuals.
Yeah, how awkward is it? You're on the road and you're dreaming and you say the other partner's name. Send me Gina. Oh, sorry.
Just dreaming about my domestic partner, that's all.
Right.
13-11. San Diego closing on a pretty efficient stretch here of set number 1. More defense from Urango. And a little trickery from her partner.
Yeah. I feel for Lexi right here. She's got great approach, good swings, and then Tony goes and doesn't give her any time to like go get that back and go make it better. But, you know, that's Gina and Tony. They're smooth, they're confident, they're calm.
Set point. Big jump to the line, got one. How about again? No, this time pulling. And it's a rip from Denneberg.
Yeah, I think if I'm Lexi and Julie, I'm going to talk about maybe I give her just a little bit more push on this set. Maybe same height, but I just want to get it. I'm going to focus on getting it to her right shoulder. Give her the line option.
They'll need some transition first. Good tough serve on Urango, who goes lefty and finds the block.
It's a great block. You get rattled by that, but Julie did a great job. Stay home, discipline. They're only going to get better at defense too, and so if they just keep their side out as the core of their team and then let defense develop, it's going to be their like ticket, I think.
I've been impressed in week 1 of 2025 AVP League and how often at a set point the other team has stiffened and caused either extra time or run off 3, 4, 5 points.
Yeah, I feel like that's where all these athletes that you turn on, we call it the super competitor, right? You flip the switch and that's when the game really slows down and you start to just manipulate time, and it's so fun.
Julia Donlin going European seltzer.
Wow, it's so fancy. Glass bottle too.
Yeah, wow.
No plastic, you know, chemicals or whatever with microplastics. Not enough to deal with that.
A look at the rookies here. Lexi Denneberg, one of the rookies. Donlin played last year alongside Betsley Flint. Hagen Smith, Logan Weber. I'm excited to see what they do on here, the married couple. Speaking of couples, actual marriage. Molly and James Shaw will be out. Kame Shulk, of course, new to league play.
Yeah, Kame's back in the mix. He's just, you know what, multiple-time Olympian. I used to train with him against him and his partner Ben in Huntington Beach. Ben's family had a little condo down there in Huntington, and they were our training partners for that quad. And such good guys and physical players. They really elevated our game.
Well, he's found another way to learn about the league. Tony Rodriguez played in the league. Well, they went IG official just recently.
Yes,
been about 6 months together.
Yes. Little sunset photo in the water.
Their chance to close is a no once again. They are all the way back.
Yeah, I want the sports science around when things are about to be taken away. Where does my brain go? Because I felt like there's this other realm that you go into.
Overhead. Urango with the chip. Here comes another aggressive swing on 2, and that one is good.
Like, how many defensive plays have they made this match? I say the majority of them are the last 3 or 4 points.
4-0 run. We're back to a set ball the other way. They fought off 3. Here's their first chance. Denneberg right up the middle.
Serve.
Almost had it. Pulling. Not this time. Gina Urango drives it deep.
My favorite. I mean, she is. I mean, it is an incredible amount of detail with that shot. On the right, over your shoulder, getting that ball on your right arm so you can just slime it down the line. That's so hard.
Tony going for it, trying to hit that sideline, and we'll have a second set point opportunity for the Blaze.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I green light Tony serve at any point in any match, anywhere.
Last time it was a serve up the middle. How aggressive will Donlin be here? She'll get the triple ace.
Wow, the French tickler, as we call it, just barely dribbling over. She changed it up too, went the little hybrid float.
So perhaps Brooklyn steals one there, 17-15. They go on a 4-0 run to close from 14-11.
Oh, I felt like they were struggling to score real points the whole time until the last 5. It was incredible.
A number of good offensive transitions followed by that trickle ace. Finishes it for the Blaze.
It's not a better feeling than that trickle ace for set point.
Set 2 on the way. Night 2, a Saturday evening in beautiful Florida.
How about a little magic? How about a little magic, huh?
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
Rookie partnership of Denneberg and Donlin pick up the first set victory in comeback fashion. How about that? Already at 1-0 coming off last night's win. Remember those points. If you win in 3, you get 2 points. If you force a third set and lose, you get 1. If you sweep, you get 3 points. Those won't matter unless there is a tie in the record. Let's check in with Cameron as our second set goes to the sand.
Yeah, guys, I got a chance to listen into the timeout during that 6-1 run to close out the first for the Brooklyn Blaze. And the conversation was very simple. Take a breath, watch the option, stay aggressive, and let's go battle. And ironically, in between sets 1 and 2, the other side, under the umbrella, the conversation from Tony Rodriguez was simply, I need to option more. So watch for that here in this second set. They also talked about not forcing their transitions too hard, and they said, hey, it was just one moment of opportunity that the Brooklyn Blaze really took advantage, not to fret heading into the second.
I'd agree with that. You should be more aggressive if you're 6 for 6, as Tony Rodriguez is in that first set. Offensively perfect. They call it hitting 1,000.
Yeah. The mountaintop there.
Yeah, on the other side, Donlin 6 of 7. You'll also take that as our second set gets underway. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympian Casey Patterson. We've got Cameron Irwin down on the sand in this one. And watching Jeannie Arango do what she did early on. Dig, transition, immediately terminal.
Right, and Tony even just hugging the pole there as she bump sets, grabs the pole, gives and still gives her partner a call. Multitasking.
No aces yet for the smash.
Yeah, that was something right last year. Tony and Gina great at alternating the weapons of serve.
Another dig by Gina, and this time it's down the line. So exactly what we saw to open the last set, right?
Full control, all the confidence, converting easily. It was there. That's one of those matches you felt like you just got it. It was taken away, and you only made a few errors, but unfortunately they were at the very end, and you're like, wait, we were in control the whole time. Did we really lose?
Big block. Fight at the net, won by Donlin. Donlin now 23, 6'1", out of North Carolina. Had a journeyed program through college. Started at UNC indoors, had concussion issues, went to the beach at UH first, that's University of Hawaii, followed by USC, where she was a 2-time All Pac-12 performer. And part of that was a service game as she picks up yet another ace, the third for her side.
Yeah, that's something we haven't seen yet from really either team, like big service runs and pressure, and I feel like that's what each of them kind of feed off of to really start scoring runs.
High and gone again.
Wow. That's where you're feeling it. The weather's right. Timing's perfect. You feel like you can go anywhere. Maybe catch a little perfect swirl out of the stadium if it comes in from that far corner. That's why I just get rid of that ball. I go throw it out into the crowd.
Give it away.
Yeah, well, if anything, you just wash it off a little. Hey guys, get that off, get the slime off that ball, and let's recycle a new one. Gina's owning that line on offense and in transition.
4-3 again, close action. It's kind of a workmanlike performance to build that lead to 14-11 by San Diego, only to watch it evaporate in a quick run.
Yeah.
There's an on-two, said to watch for it. Sometimes you can see it, but not stop it.
Yeah, it's always interesting because there's tendencies, but then there's like this universal tendency that usually, like, off the net, they're going to carve, wide to the sidelines. If it's tight, we're going high and flat, wrist away. So it looks like they were ready, they're prepared, they see that.
Okay. One hit? We good?
Camera? Does that matter?
No.
So how about this? In control early in the second set, still a ways to go. But how would the weekend lay out for Denneberg and Donlin that you would, in your very first league action together, as a lefty shot is dug up. Denneberg in transition, high line. Cannot be run down, and the lead extends to 3.
Lexi
How
with
about
the
you
drive
show
by.
up
Yeah.
and you defeat the Olympic silver medalists, and then you're going to take out the reigning champions.
Yeah, like, wow, not a bad weekend. We didn't have to go to Home Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond. It was just effortless.
You definitely didn't have time. 6-1, the run here. It was 0-2. We have a little sand timeout.
Yeah, for me, it just goes to show how valuable siding out at a high level is and being able to be steady near the end of sets, especially with how quick these are. You focus on just siding out at a high level. Defense, again, is just like an accessory to that. And that's what they're doing real well. Another one.
Yeah, another beautiful dig high. Well off the net, and that's maybe a little too aggressive.
I love those digs where you're running, you know it's there, you get the little perfect platform out as you do the old drive-by scoop, but 2 in a row, that's real fun. That's when you start to feel real confident on defense and willing to maybe take some chances and get confident reading. You just hope that Tony and Gina don't start going on their service run that they probably have tucked away somewhere.
Just pull it out of their pocket.
Yeah. I mean, the combo of their serves too, Gina hitting the jumper and then Tony just throwing low, flat missiles down the middle and sidelines is a good combination too.
Just out.
Just wide.
And more glasses work. What's going on here? Sometimes those science goggles, they get a little messed up. You just got to get another pair.
Right, because, well, I mean, everyone in class is using them. You're always looking for the one that doesn't have the scratches. It's
blast a little iodine on there.
Yeah.
Good thing that didn't go in your eyes. 7-4. Donlin back to the jump serve. On 2.
Yeah.
Boy, direction and placement perfectly.
Right, just perfect. Way to cause a little bit more anxiousness for them not to just be free on defense. Just one more layer to have to deal with. This is where Tony, I'm guessing she goes down the middle here.
Nice high set. Gina read it, just couldn't quite get there with the left hand.
They're feeling real confident against that serve, almost right in Lexi's lap and getting her maybe a little stuck under the ball and running 4s or staying home. You can tell that they're confident with that service / pattern recognition in that play.
Side switch at 8, just 1. No true advantage right now. Very little wind inside the stadium. A nice little breeze taking the edge off the heat. 8-5, already leading 1-0. The Brooklyn Blaze. Julia almost had it off there, the touch and turn.
Those are so fun when you get them, and it's great to see blockers that turn and go, because it feels, a lot of times it feels so like far away, but to train that, it's kind of like a defensive mentality, right? Like I just have to go and then hope for the best. A lot of blockers, they get that touch and you feel like it's over, but to land and go, that's the next level.
Gotta track the ball off of your hands. If you're the Smash, you'd love to get something going from the service line. Denneberg, angle to work with, right into the lap of Urango.
What a
and she'll
set.
convert.
What a set by Tony. Patented bump juice. Perfect roll. Give me that spin so I can get on it quick. Great slide in by Gina. Wow, it's so frustrating because you're like, do I need to go farther over? I felt like I was far enough over, and she's still tooling me in the line.
Bump juice. Does that come in 16 ounce, 32? What's
It's
the
all
size?
ounces. Just depends on what the score is at.
Okay. How much you need to take.
Yeah.
More bump juice right there. A little tight. Run down this time. Urango resets. And it goes off her partner and finds the sand.
Great scramble play. Good read by Tony, even though she doesn't get that block. It's good patience to not go up with Julia and let her just poke over fast.
That'll put Donlin back to serve. Already Manhattan Beach Open champion. Participated in a couple finals there in Manhattan. Will be there mid-year for Heritage event. Perfectly done. Pushed to the net by her partner. Knuckled over the top. There's a little turn. Dig. And a net violation will end it.
Oh, I was
Much
just
to
gonna
Casey Patterson's dismay.
I was just going to say, great job by Tony not netting on that quick turnaround, and then Gina gets the dig and opportunity. That was the hardest one for me to not net on because I wanted to go like help and take over and close.
Fighting congestion and illness all week long. Perhaps not the amount of time in the sand that she wanted. And when you have to make those bang bang plays, see how slowly Tony Rodriguez is heading back.
Plus with the heat, humidity, things are already a little bit tougher on the body.
Yeah, and you need to make sure your nutrition is on point. That's something that Lexi Denneberg and Julia Donlin are doing. To talk to both of them is to hear them talk about how they're quite aligned on mindset, morals, values, faith, connecting through all these different things. They've been friends since college. And one of the ways they're trying to build community is through a regular Taco Tuesday.
I love
Lexi
it.
Denneberg sent us a picture here. Julia Donlin's thing is guacamole. And a lot of it. I think you're going to want to get in on this
Look
case.
at that. Yeah, my favorite thing is guacamole. That's like about 2 gallons of guacamole right there.
Yeah, that's a little 0.5 action from Kylie
Wow.
DeBerg, who is in on the community here.
Homemade fried, like refried beans. Is that like a Texas sheet cake? Oh, that's just a cutting board with all the meat. I'm in. God, I mean, when do we get the invite?
Having a good party this evening, and they have been all weekend long. They've been eating well on the volleyball court, simply feasting on their opponents from the service line.
Extra guac on the side. Yeah, you don't have to pay extra for that. I'll take the trickle ace all day long. Great mentality. They're just getting after it. They get to be free and just, I love that they're aligned like you mentioned. You know, everything aligned. For me, that was so important because if I'm going to battle, it just makes it so much easier for me to trust and feel and just go win these tight, close matches.
Another tough serve from Donlin. It results in an off-net opportunity and an extension of the lead, 11-7.
This is where, yesterday I felt like Gina and Tony were kind of trailing in both those kind of first sets, and then they just found a way. They found another gear, and I feel like that's where that mindset training will kick in.
Another wrist away, this one down the middle. Rodriguez back up out of the sand. She'll check down and put it right in front.
Don't run line on me. Adorable. That's what I would have been thinking.
You
as they
should tell
ran
her
line.
just to yell that, right?
Yeah, I'd love to say their full name too. You know, whoever was it, Julia on defense.
I don't remember much from 2020, but I do remember the 3 events in Long Beach and how quiet it was, except for you. 11-8.
America.
Net violation is going to negate a Urango dig. 12-8. Running out of time or the smash.
Yeah, we gotta side out and generate something here. We gotta find either our serve or transition.
Short serve. Urango right into Denneberg. And she will smoothly put it to the corner. 13-8.
Julia took about 35 steps to that ball. Great balance. I love that because it keeps your hips above your feet. You stay balanced. Your upper body can be smooth and make a chaotic play just pure.
Lexi works into that middle. And can't quite get that one. It's just over the top of her from Jeannie Urango. Playing her best volleyball of her career in the mid-30s.
Yeah, she's become the most steady player on tour. Her ability to get out of trouble, to have multiple threats in her offense, defense. It's fun to watch her through her whole career as well.
Yeah, and she's playing against her former opponent as that one misses. Her former teammate in Julia Donlin. 6 podiums and 10 events together in 2022, but they're a long way from that now. 14-9, Brooklyn. Match ball. Not this time.
Nice.
Second opportunity to close coming up.
Great lefty. Tony's firing herself up, talking to herself.
Long way to go. Brooklyn came back from this moment almost the same in the last one, but it won't be this time. The on-2 aggressive swing continues the 7-3 run and closes this match in consecutive sets, 17-15, 15-10.
New kid on the block, just coming in hot, getting digs when it was the most important near the end of those sets. Lexi did a great job. Both of them, you know, just firing off on their serve and doing what they do best, side out and be aggressive.
We're going to get into the league. We're going to go beat the Olympic silver medalists from last year. And then we're going to take out the defending champions of the AVP League. Yeah, sounds like a nice weekend.
I just thought I'd make the comment, knowing my dad wasn't here. Dad, did you see me? Dad, did you see me win?
It could not have gone better for the Brooklyn Blaze on the women's side. They come out of the weekend at 2-0. We're going to have a lot more women's action. We'll move over to the CW. We'll get the Palm Beach Passion taking on the Dallas Dream coming up next. For now, it's congratulations to Denneberg and Donlin on an exceptional weekend and another win here on Saturday night for Cameron Irwin, Casey Patterson, and our entire crew of Kevin Barnett. We'll see you on the CW momentarily.